My name is Angela Gunter, Angela Gunter. My phone number is 270-952-1691, and my email address is angela.gunter@davis, DAVIESS, kyschools.us. The best part about being a teacher is also the scariest. I'll explain. For 13 years before I became a teacher, I was a medical laboratory technician. And I know it's difficult to fathom that anyone would abandon the glamorous life of analyzing blood and urine and stool and gastric fluid and wound drainage and semen, but I gave all that up for teaching, what I was born to do. But as a lab tech, I worked in various departments of the lab, including blood bank, titrating antibodies, and cross-matching blood. And I knew at that time that a mistake on my part would probably only kill one person. However, as a teacher, I could kill the drive and inspiration of 180 students per year. Okay, I admit that's a little bit dramatic, but I do take my charge incredibly seriously. My words, my actions, my reactions can create a spark for love of learning or tamp the flame out with my harsh manner or a sarcastic tone. Kids are very perceptive. They don't miss a thing. They sense when a teacher is genuine and caring. It's hard to fake passion. And I'm really lucky that I don't have to. My kids know I have a lot of education. I have lots of options, but that I actually choose to be with them. And that they appreciate that choice is the best thing about being a teacher. What I do matters because sometimes I'm the only person who has smiled at that student that day. Sometimes I'm the only one who's challenged that student that day. Sometimes I'm the only one who's asked a question of that student that day. Sometimes I'm the only one who believes in that student that day. The work is hard, but the thing that keeps me going is the appreciation that I get in return. Nearly every day a current student, a former student, a parent, or a colleague affirms my choice to be a teacher. When I was a lab tech, no patient ever came running up to me saying, "Hey, I appreciate how you analyzed my white blood cell count last year," or they wouldn't say, "The course of my life was changed because of your reading of my hemoglobin levels." But as an educator, I bet at least once a week I'll run into someone who says, "Oh, you were my daughter's favorite teacher," or "My son's HCT score went up 6 points thanks to you." One young man recently brought me to tears when he came to my classroom to show me his college diploma, and he gave me the biggest hug. He said, "Miss Gunter, I remember sitting right over there, and you handed me back one of my first assignments, and I was so mad at you, I wadded up and threw it in your face. And I remember being surprised, not that you took me out in the hall, but that you didn't yell at me." He recalled that I told him there was no one else in the entire building that would work harder to help him pass the class so he could graduate. He said, "I know I gave you grief, Miss G, but you hung in there, and his diploma is all because of you." I mean, wow. In what other profession could such a transformation occur? My favorite professional development is also my favorite way to connect with educators outside my building. It's Twitter. It's expanded my universe. It's helped me make connections with people from all over the world. Anything from theoretical research to practical lesson plans I can take and use in my classroom the next day. I can find it on the Twitterverse. I especially like to take part in Twitter chats, and I've even gotten to co-host a couple of them. They create such an adrenaline rush, and I can't type fast enough. The people who log on are so uplifting, and they have a desire to add their expertise and ideas to our profession. They push me to want me to do more. My experience with teacher evaluation systems has been a mixed bag. I, like so many of my colleagues, spend a crazy amount of time thinking and planning and preparing for lessons that no outside person, and contrary to what some people believe, high schoolers are people, but no outside person will ever get to see. It's just the icing on the cake when an observer witnesses the process. And since I do my job, I should not have been incredibly anxious when I participated in the pilot year of Kentucky's Teacher Professional Growth Effectiveness System. However, because I'm quite conscientious, I wanted to do everything correctly according to the model that was being utilized, so I studied. I pored over the videos of effective practices, the rationales of exemplary teaching, and the suggestions of appropriate evidence to collect. I reflected on my teaching and reworked lessons to make sure they demonstrated an awareness of how to measure and increase student learning rather than covering the material. I felt good about my lessons and was hopeful that what I had planned on paper translated to success in my classroom. I was ready for my observation. And I was not the only one who was ready. After my observation, I sat with my principal, who simply amazed me. Maybe I should reveal that in the past, relatively far in the past, I had one or two less than rigorous evaluations. Once I had to explain what the writing program review was to my observer, who didn't even know there was a writing program review, which is part of our accountability testing rating. It left me feeling that all my hard work to meet the indicators was not really recognized. I'd also been the victim of what I like to call drive-by evaluations, which consisted of mere minutes of observation. So imagine how incredibly appreciative I was to receive specific feedback using the language from the framework. I felt truly supported and validated and affirmed. My administrator and I were speaking the same language. He noted little things that I feel may have gone unnoticed without the common training that we'd all received. He focused on the same issues I was focused on in my classroom, and instead of a post-observation conversation that could have been a taxing experience, it turned out to be an enthusiastic academic discussion about how students learn, one of my favorite subjects in the world. I know our new system is not perfect, because what system is. I'm sure that I'm still a little bit nervous about when I'm formally evaluated. I think my meticulous nature will never allow me to be fully confident. However, I'm thrilled with the renewed sense of focus and awareness of effective teaching practice that this TPGES has created in my school. And I only hope that others are experiencing results similar to mine. I'm in conscientious teacher heaven. The funniest thing a student ever did was drag me into the hallway telling me that two students were about to get into a fight. And when I returned, I found my stapler encased in Jell-O, just like Dwight from The Office, which is a show that we kind of like to watch at home. The kids who pulled off the caper also wrote a rationale for their project, including proper MLA documentation. I was never so proud. 3 words, if I had to describe teaching in 3 words, I think it would be igniting intellectual fires.